Hey, how's it going, everybody? So apparently, Germany does things better than the U.S. in some parts. This channel says they actually found 10 things that Germany does better than the U.S. And I'm more than interested to hear this and give you my opinion on it. Tell you if it's actually true or if it's just someone who thinks that he knows a lot about Germany without ever having lived there, I guess. So let's go.
The US has a lot to offer and is a leader in many things, but there are some things that Germany just does better. These are the 10 things that Germany does better than the US of A. According to Bloomberg's Innovation Index, Germany is the second most innovative country in the world, just behind South Korea, but the United States sits at number 8. Germany has a long history of science and invention, so it might not be too surprising. Still, it's clear that the US could take a few lessons from Germany, at least in this department.
Absolutely wrong. Absolutely straight up wrong. Here, let me tell you something about Germany. Here's the problem. Here's the problem. The problem is a lot of stuff is made in Germany. A lot of stuff is created in Germany. Is being just made. Innovated. Is researched here. But the problem is Germany itself never uses this. It's the same. It's technology is the greatest example. So much technology is being produced here, is being designed here, and all this, but in Germany you don't see it. Honestly, when I was in the States, people were just. They couldn't believe it when I told them then that many of the things that they considered normal in their home, we never have and we don't have. And the same with innovative. I don't know if you can count internet in that same regard, but I would say so because internet has something to do with infrastructure as well. The internet in Germany, compared to the US or compared to like Scandinavian countries, other places in Europe, is absolutely outdated. I'm pretty sure there's even I'm pretty sure the government actually decided to not do and not change and not innovate the German internet situation until at least 2025. So, people, especially people from the US, you would not survive here. Honestly, I'm not gonna lie. You would not survive with the internet we have. It's absolutely horrible, even though the one that I have right here. So, sum it up, a lot of stuff is being produced, a lot of stuff is made here, but Germans don't use it. It's not true.
It's clear that the US could take a few lessons from Germany, at least in this department. Germany has a long history of innovation and thought, and its national average IQ reflects this. The national German mean IQ sits at 102. The US mean IQ sits at 98, which only seems to be a little bit less, but those few points can make a huge difference in the competitive market. Maybe it's the history, maybe it's the education, but Germans are just smarter than Americans. It might not be something to brag about.
Germans might be very good at something, at very specific things, I'm not gonna lie. When they put on something in their head, they generally go for it. That is true. But I do have to say the whole competitiveness, in many ways, it's almost as if people here are actually scared of competitiveness. I'm not gonna lie.
But when it comes to red tape, Germany...
Wait, what is this?
It might not be something to brag about, but when it comes to red tape, Germany has miles and miles of it. But the US tends to take shortcuts in matters of bureaucracy. It's so bad that in light of the refugee crisis, 2 Syrians actually came up with an app to help navigate the maze of German bureaucracy after waiting weeks and weeks to get basic things done, like setting up a bank account.
Yeah.
In Germany, you're required to carry an identification card, have to apply for a license for everything.
But I think that's only once you are like 16.
And then you need to wait for half an eternity to actually receive the results of your multitude of applications. Some say it's the old Prussian culture that Germans could never let go of. But at the end of the day, Germany is just better at bureaucracy because it keeps going and going and going and going and going.
Honestly, I thought that this was the video was exactly how it is right now. German bureaucracy is an absolute nightmare. I don't know why I don't know why he says he mentions stuff about Germany, the bureaucracy being so bad and so complex and so, I mean, they take no shortcuts. They just do the long style like over and over again. And there's even people that founded an app because of it. But yet he still summarizes his points by saying Germany has their bureaucracy is much better than the US. This guy doesn't make any sense.
Crime is significantly lower in Germany than it is in the United States,
that is
which
true.
means Germans are better at keeping criminal elements in check. The United States has over twice as much general crime as Germany does, with Germany ranked 77th in the world and the USA ranked 30th in crime. In addition, Germany has lower rates of crime in all relevant categories. The USA has 3 times more drug use, 3 times more violent crime, and 5 times the murder rate. Germany is just a safer place, hands down.
True.
Germany is the #1 hops producer in the world, with the US falling far behind it. Hops is a flower that is essential for the production of beer. As for critical acclaim, German beer is widely regarded as far better than anything offered in the United States. That is because German beer is real beer, and US beer is just piss water.
Okay, well, I'm not the biggest beer drinker myself, but I do say there's a lot of variety here. Beer is one of the few things where I actually have a lot of variety. Now, if you have a heavy beer drinker, if you really, really enjoy drinking beer, Germany's probably the place for you. Now, obviously, you had to show the Oktoberfest for it. By the way, I've never been to the Oktoberfest myself. Yeah, I don't know, US beer, I said this in a previous video, I tasted Bud Light and Budweiser. It's just not good. I mean, it's the type of thing you drink when you feel like drinking 10 liters before you feel somewhat of a buzz. The one beer in the States that I actually really liked when I was there wasn't a US beer. I think it's a Mexican beer. I think it's Modelo. Modelo was really, really fucking good. I drank that on 4th of July.
Is real beer, and US beer is just piss water. The USA is known as the gas guzzler nation, and one that tends to overuse electricity and power all the time. But Germans are ahead of the game by way of comparison. Germany has the largest installed solar power capacity of any country and is leagues ahead of the United States.
Nah.
Germany's active solar capacity sits at 9,799 megawatts per hour, which is better than anything the USA can muster. Germany is far more generous with immigration than the USA is. The USA still has strict requirements on people who wish to emigrate from their country to live and work in the United States, but the process can be unduly long, often taking years. In Germany, the immigration process is much more streamlined and humanitarian. When Angela Merkel, in a historic and monumental moment, announced that Germany's borders would be opened for all to come, Germany set a new precedent for immigration. These days, you can just walk over the border and live in Germany with no paperwork required.
True.
The United States lags behind Germany in this capacity, but it might be just a matter of time until it catches up. Compared to the United States, German education isn't just cheap, it's practically free. For about 250 euros a semester, you can study in Germany and get as good as, if not better, an education than anything you might be able to get in the United States. Compare this to the average private American university that can literally charge you thousands and thousands of dollars a semester. In fact, the most expensive private institution in the United States is Columbia University, which charges a whopping $55,056 per year in tuition and fees.
Per year? So 2 semesters, I guess, right? I thought it was like Harvard or something like that. Anyway, real quick, something about the education. So the education, high school education, is by far better here in Germany, 100%. I've read up a bunch of articles. I've talked to quite a few people, and in Germany, we have different school systems. We got three ones, and they're all differently, a different length. We got Hauptschule, which is 9 years long. We got Realschule, which is 10 years long. But these don't give you the qualifications to go to university. You need to do at least Fachabitur or Abitur, which is basically high school. Now, high school is 12 years long, but Germany changed it in the previous years to where you can actually choose whether you want to do it when you want to complete a high school in 12 years or in 13 years. Now, if you use 13 years, that's not adding 1 year to the end, just to make that sure, of your final like high school years. That is adding a year between like, I think, 9 and 10, something like that. I think. I didn't do that. I did 12 years, and then I got my Abitur, or my high school degree. So I'm able to go to university with that one. And people say that German high school, when you graduate from it, the stuff that we learn, the stuff that we can already do, is, some people say, the equivalent of at least the first year into any university or high school, university or college in the States. So we're like 1 year ahead, you can say. And I've also found out that when you go to a university or school in the States or college, the first 2 years are pretty much the exact same for anyone, except for if you already decide to take some certain classes for your degree or for your major. Then you only really have to decide your major like at the end of, like, towards the end of the second year, and so your whole major is only 2 years long. Which here, if you do a bachelor, it's at least 3 years, or sometimes 3.5, sometimes 4. But more often not, the average is like 3. So yeah, the whole tuition cost, yeah, the fee, it's true, it ranges between 150 euros to 300. If you want to do, but there's also very expensive schools here. So for example, if you want to do something international, like if your major has the name, or the word international at the start, at the beginning of the name of the major, then you're still going to be thousands of euros. So these schools still exist here. But if you do a regular degree, then yes, it costs far less, and most of it is for a semester ticket, which basically means you can use transportations. I think in mainly I think in your state where you're going to school. I think that's pretty much it. I'm not 100% sure. There's another thing. But still, you have to keep in mind, even if the tuition fees or semester fee is far less, you still have to be able to live somewhere and be able to buy food and all of this. So the expenses on the side, they don't go away. That's the same with U.S. University students or college students. So that's still the same, 100%. But one thing you also have to realize, yes, you don't pay as much, like clearly not as much here in Germany, even though you can go to a community college in the States and then go to university after, which is far cheaper if you don't have that much money. But the college and university experience here is far different. I mean, you will never find amazing campuses like they show right here with Columbia. So like nothing like that is here. And the whole student life is totally different. So don't expect that. You pay far less here, but you also get far less. Yeah, the education might be the same. You can argue sometimes better, but that's really subjective. It really depends on the field itself and what you're doing. I mean, you can't say that about every major, but you don't get this, right? You're never going to go to... This is not a university in Germany, let's put it that way.
In the United States is Columbia University, which charges a Schuld is the same. Perhaps because the German word for debt, Schuld, is the same word as guilt, Germany is a land of misers and fiscally conscious people. Most German credit cards are actually debit cards, directly tied to people's bank accounts. German people generally don't try to spend money they don't have, and are cautious about taking on debt. Compare that to the United States, where students take on hundreds of thousands of dollars of debt, overspend with multiple credit cards, and buy everything they want on a whim. There's a reason why Germany is the EU's economic powerhouse, and the US has a debt-to-GDP ratio of 104.5%.
Depends on the person.
Everyone hears the nightmare stories about the American healthcare system. Stories of average people financially ruined by medical bills they simply cannot pay. Well, in Germany, that sort of thing just doesn't happen. The healthcare system in Germany is what is called universal multi-payer with two types, gesetzliche Krankenversicherung, or statutory health insurance, and Krankenkasse, or sickness funds. Germany ranks worldwide 25th in terms of healthcare, but the US ranks 37th. To add insult to injury, the US even pays more for its inferior healthcare, as the country has a higher per capita spending per healthcare than Germany does. For more top lists just like this.
Okay, real quick on that, because I can do a whole video about that one in general. And my experiences, it's first of all, the treatment to if I went to a dentist or a doctor or something like that in the past, honestly, I haven't had a single good experience with any of those in the past 10 years. I'm not gonna, maybe one person, not gonna lie. The healthcare system here is not as good as you think. And here's the thing, even because it's socialized medicine, you have to pay, it's very normal to wait for an appointment for at least 4 to 6 weeks before you get anything. That is for a doctor, that is for a dentist. So you have to plan way ahead. If there's a sudden emergency, yes, you can go there and really and get some treatment, but you're not welcome. Let's put it that way. I'm gonna do a whole, in case you're interested about that, I can do a whole video about that. But anyway, okay, so definitely some good points here and there, I'm not gonna lie. A lot of stuff that I disagreed with. The college one was, I hope I could give you some sort of insight into that. And if there's any other questions you have about Germany and what life is here, definitely let me know. I've been to the States 3 times myself so far, so I know a little bit about it. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And if there's anything else you would like me to react to, give me the name down in the comments of the video. And I hope you guys enjoyed, and take care. I'll see you soon.